tomato. No matter how you say it, 'tis the season when they are ripe, juicy, and delicious. And I have 5 of the best tomato recipes, no sauces and no salads. Have you ever had tomato pie? This is a Southern summer classic that is so delicious, but I'm turning it into a dip. So I'm gonna take some tomatoes and seed them and chop them. What we're looking for is to take some of like the juiciness out so that our dip is not too runny. I just kind of cut along the sides because most of the seeds are sitting there in the middle. And then I just kind of use my thumb to scoop out the seeds. I don't know if you know this, but you should not be refrigerating your tomatoes. That takes all the flavor out. They are at their peak best flavor when they are like warm / like room temperature, straight out of the garden. Leave them on the countertop until you're ready to eat them. I'm going to place them in a colander set over a bowl because we want some of that juice to come out. So I'm gonna salt them. The salt's gonna bring out some of that moisture. A little salt. I'm gonna stir that around and let it sit while I mix up everything else. To go along in the dip is some good old Vidalia onion. My friend, Ivy, from Southern Living, says Vidalia. Into the bowl, our onion, half a cup of mayonnaise, and then a block of cream cheese. This is what is different in a tomato pie versus the dip. You wanna make sure it's softened so that everything mixes together well. And then all the cheeses. I'm using in this dip some mozzarella, some Parmesan, and I'm going in with a little onion powder, a little Worcestershire, a little hot sauce, lots of black pepper. All right, give that a mix. All right, then I'm gonna fold in just some fresh basil. I'm also going to add in cheddar cheese, some on the top, but I'm gonna add in some at this point too. You know this is gonna be so good. All right, the tomatoes have been sitting here about 10, 15 minutes, and I'm gonna press out a little more, make sure they're dry, and in they go. Since I salted those, I was waiting to add more salt to the dip. You've got salt from the tomatoes, obviously, but also from those cheeses, so you might not need a lot. You can cook this up in a skillet or like a little pie dish to kind of be reminiscent of the tomato pie shape. Just to give it that good tomato pie look, we're gonna top it with our tomatoes that we sliced earlier, and then another little sprinkle of cheese. Then this just goes into the oven, 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes until it's all bubbly and browned. This is one of those things that has to sit and come back together. So I'm gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes before serving. Garnish it with a little more fresh basil. You wanna serve this up with some crostini. It's gonna give you the perfect bite. You've got the juicy like little burst of tomatoes, but that cheesiness in there is like salty and rich. I might like this better than the tomato pie. You're gonna wanna make this one. We definitely started off with a bang. On to the next. For my next trick, tomato bacon jam. This is a good way to use up any of maybe your overripe tomatoes. It doesn't really matter what they look like because they're going to get cooked down. Chop up your tomatoes and then chop up your bacon. About a ½ pound. To keep things efficient, I'm going with my bacon in one skillet and the tomatoes in the other. These are gonna cook down for like an hour. All right, to the tomato, going in with more sweet onion. It's just a natural pairing. Cup of sugar. To balance out the sweet, you need something tangy. So a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And then to balance sweet and tangy, a little salt, a little pepper, and to finish out the balance, some hot sauce. And that's it. This is just going to cook down until you get that kind of jam consistency. I've let this go. I got a little carried away, but that's a good thing. I think it takes a little longer than an hour. Simmering on low, look how thick and rich and delicious that looks. And then as it cools, it's gonna get even thicker. Now you add in that cooked bacon. I'm just going straight from the skillet because I'm okay if a little fat gets in there because it'll cut through some of that sweet and tanginess. And just like that, tomato bacon jam. As it cools, it will get even thicker. And you can leave this, I mean, this is gonna last a long time in your fridge. You don't have to do the whole canning process. The acid in the tomatoes is gonna keep it safe for a while anyway. Here's a couple ways I like to serve it. If you've got a block of cream cheese and any kind of like chutneys, jams, then you've got your party appetizer. The second way, and you'll find this a lot in burger restaurants down here on the menu, is you'll see like, you know, burgers with pimento cheese and tomato bacon jam. And that's how you do it. Tomato, bacon, jam. 2 for 2 so far. That little smokiness from the bacon. It's so good. I need a glass of wine. This could be my dinner. My buddy Roscoe, who happens to be an expert in all things Southern,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And all things like burgers, whatever.
In general.
I want you to try my tomato bacon jam on a burger.
Oh, bruh.
That was sincere. Because it surprised you a little bit. I don't think you thought it was going to be that good.
I did not.
Okay.
That's good.
Right?
It's like the jam is not too sweet. The bacon still crushes it with the smoke flavor. And the crunch is on point.
Right.
That's a better burger than anything. What do you got
Something like
here?
that, with just some cream cheese. Just a perfect bite. Right? Out of 10.
And jam?
Yeah.
9.2.
I'll take it. He's the best.
Okay, you're the best.
This recipe is how you can enjoy your fresh tomatoes for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We're making shakshuka. If you've never had shakshuka, it is a tomato-based dish that eggs are cooked inside of, and you can serve it up on some crusty bread. It's just perfect all the way around. So I'm gonna start with some olive oil in a skillet. Then I'm gonna go with some yellow onion, some red bell pepper, and a little garlic. Cook that down until it's really soft. So now we go in to the star of the show, along with some jalapeno or whatever kind of spicy chili you want. Salt's gonna help kind of break down those tomatoes. Paprika for a little color, and a little cumin. All right, then we're just gonna cook this down until those tomatoes become saucy. It'll take about 10 to 15 minutes. Saucy and delicious. So what you wanna do is you want to create wells in the sauce. So this is gonna serve 4, so I'm gonna create 4 wells and crack 4 eggs into each one. Oh my gosh, it's a twin. Now I'm going to place a cover on this, and then you're gonna cook it for just about 5 minutes. You want, of course, all the whites set, and hopefully the yolks are a little runny. Even the twins. Oh yeah, we are ready. I want plenty of sauce, and that's why you serve it with bread, because you wanna just like sop it all up. Eggs, they're not just for breakfast anymore. Little parsley, little crusty bread. Let that yolk get down in the tomatoes. Those tomatoes, as they've cooked down, have gotten so sweet, so juicy, but it's still, you can definitely taste the difference of making it like this versus like a store-bought tomato sauce. I really could eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner in one day. A plus. All right, next up, I promised no salads, but I didn't say anything about slaws. This is a tomato slaw. The actual name for this is called Vinagrete, and it is a Brazilian tomato slaw. So I start by just dicing up about 5 tomatoes. Next up, an English cucumber, about half of one. Whenever I quarter a cucumber, I like to go ahead and scrape my knife to get out those little seeds. Just kind of keeps the texture crunchy. Green onion. All right, and then I already have just some white onion, some red bell pepper ready to go, and then we're gonna add in some herbs. So basically everything just gets tossed in the bowl now. Some red bell pepper, half a cup of onion, and then some cilantro and parsley. Dressing is different than what you're used to when it comes to like our typical like Southern style tomato salads, which is usually just like an oil and vinegar situation. This is lime juice, heavy on the lime, with a little apple cider vinegar, and then olive oil. Stir it up and season it with salt and pepper. Now the recipe states to leave it and let it sit at room temperature for about 3 hours. That's gonna let all those juices kind of come out and then marry together. Y'all know I'm gonna go ahead and taste it though. Okay, I can see this is only gonna get better with time. That lime juice just really like brightens it up and like highlights the freshness of everything in here. Also love the crunch from the onion and the bell pepper and the cucumber. Bring this to the next cookout. We're gonna close it out with another like dinner specialty. It's a perfect side dish, Vera Cruz tomatoes. These are baked tomatoes that are stuffed with cheesy, bacony goodness. For this recipe, you want to use a ripe tomato, but one that's firm so that it withstands the baking process. And you're going to start by cutting off the tops and scooping out the seeds and most of the membrane from the inside so that you have a place to put all that not so healthy stuff. And then you're going to place them upside down to finish draining on a paper towel. Tomatoes are draining, and now we make the filling. So I've cooked some bacon in the skillet, and we're going to keep the drippings in here and cook our spinach and onion. All right, once that onion has softened, then you go in with some spinach. If there are any like big stems, just pull those off. Cook this down. That's good to go. To this, I'll go in with that bacon we cooked, chop it up, and add that right in. All right, now I stir in a little bit of sour cream, hot sauce, then a little salt and pepper. I'm gonna put cheese on top at the end, but I'm gonna put a little bit in the filling too. This is not in the recipe. I think it's just gonna hold everything together a little better. Now, we're gonna take our tomatoes that have been hollowed out, make sure they're really dry inside. They've been draining, so they are. And then just add like a pinch of salt to the inside and then spoon in the filling. All right, so then get a small like 8x8 baking dish or whatever you've got that's small. Grease it and place your tomatoes. You want them to kind of hold each other up. And like this one, I feel like it's kind of wanting to roll over, so you could like trim off just a little bit off the bottom. The perfect fit. Now these just go into the oven, 375 degrees for about 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna top them with cheese and go back in for another like 15 minutes. It's like a spinach bacon dip inside of a tomato. I feel like it's gonna be a lot like the tomato pie. Hot, steamy, juicy, creamy, salty, a little bit of crunch from the bacon. I already know. I kept thinking this would be like a really good side dish for dinner, but this is like a good like brunch. Tomato's still juicy. It's like perfectly sweet. You definitely need that kind of ripe, firm tomato to start with because you see how like soft it gets. So if you start with a soft one, it would just be completely flat. These still held their shape. You're definitely gonna wanna make this. As a matter of fact, you're gonna wanna make all 5 of these. Please do so this summer. When the tomatoes are as ripe, juicy, plump, and perfect as this, you can't skip out on these good recipes and ways to use it. They're good for way more than just salsa, sauce, and salad. Did I prove it? I think I did. Oh my gosh, it's a twin. Let me do that again. Well, he's distracting. Sorry, y'all will just have to skip that one. Oh my God.
What?
Baby, you won the jackpot.
They say it's a sign of good luck. I guess I'm leaving it.